build anything that will last over 100 years, your foundation for that must be strong.
If you have a weak foundation, whatever you're trying to build will not last.
The only ways anything can grow is through a solid foundation. You can't go up until your foundation is laid properly.
The foundation is the soul.
I believe that Southern is on firm ground, has a solid foundation.
If we didn't have the foundation today, I don't know what we could do.
Southern is on a strong and firm foundation.
Southern's founding is a rather historical one. It was founded in 1880 in New Orleans. It was just a few short years after the Civil War.
When you go back into the history, it was founded mainly to educate the recently freed slaves. PBS Pinchback, the first African American to serve as a governor in our United States, was the individual who entered into legislation the bill to create Southern University.
Mr. Pinchback had a vision of disadvantaged kids, disadvantaged because of institutional racism, disadvantaged because of an economic system that they had been left out of the mainstream. And what Mr. Pinchback wanted was to allow young people with the potential to excel to have an opportunity to excel. And that's what Southern did.
Those first 30-some years in New Orleans was followed by a move to Baton Rouge back in 1914.
When it came to Baton Rouge, everybody knew about Southern, and it really grew under the leadership of one of our iconic figures in Southern University's history, Joseph S. Clark. His son, Felton Grandison Clark, followed him and really brought Southern into the new age of higher education.
And since that time, we've expanded the Southern University concept to a system encompassing some 5 campuses.
We've got a campus in New Orleans, we've got a campus in Shreveport, we created a law center, we created an ag center. Our reach went beyond just what was happening on the bluffs of the Mississippi and Baton Rouge, but all over the state of Louisiana.
Southern started against odds. It's lived through odds. It struggled with odds, and it probably ever will.
And the first stumbling block was, of course, funding for the institution. We started with merely $10,000.
In Article 231 that authorized the founding of Southern University, it reads, "The General Assembly shall also establish a university for the persons of color, provide for its proper government, and shall make an annual appropriation of not less than $5,000 and not more than $10,000 for its maintenance and support."
And every year they received the 10,000 until 1921 when they had took an amendment to remove that $10,000 limitation that Southern could get.
The funny thing about that is that it still seems like the state is giving us $5,000 a year.
And we've struggled over the decades at trying to get some equality of funding. But with the current state of fiscal affairs in Louisiana, we lose ground.
We have, over the last 5 years, continued to see a significant decline in funding. And that message to us is that the state is getting out of the education business.
At one time, the higher ed community realized an allocation upward to 70% from the state. That number is down to about 30% now.
Think if you had to lose 50% of your income in your family, how would you survive?
The legislature continues to cut and cut and cut. The students had to march to get them to understand we need help at Southern.
We did a protest downtown in front of the state capitol. Fought for our soul, basically. This is where our souls are.
Consequently, we're going to have to turn to our alums, our friends, our supporters, to corporations and businesses across this state and nation to seek funding to keep growing and expanding into the future.
Southern University has weathered a terrible storm over the last 7 years in terms of funding.
If we don't step up to the plate and find a new business model, our institutions are going to close.
And the work of the True Blue Foundation is designed to ensure Southern's existence, survival, and vibrancy.
Southern University System Foundation was founded in 1968 by our past president, Felton Granderson Clark, with the sole purpose of generating revenue and resources.
Foundation funds give us the elasticity, gives us the opportunity to assist students, faculty, educational programs beyond the limitations of our public budget. The foundation has been fantastic in raising money for student scholarships because so many of our students are on financial aid.
We have a lot of kids who come from impoverished backgrounds for whom sometimes financial aid is unavailable or exhausted and who need some help, quite frankly, financially to go to school. And if anybody's been in college, you know you need some help.
Personally, there have been times where I didn't know what I was going to do. And like I said, I think every college student goes through that, and it's a scary feeling.
There are so many intelligent, smart, brilliant students who, without someone giving or helping them, they may not be able to afford an education.
Myself, for example, I was in debt while I was in school. And I submitted an application for a book scholarship through the Southern University System Foundation.
Instruments like Southern University Foundation, I feel that this is a wonderful way of helping someone achieve their dreams.
If it weren't for the foundation, a lot of my classmates and myself wouldn't be able to afford books or stay here, at Southern University, which we love so much.
Our faculty members, our professors, our department chairs, they have big ideas. And what we wanted to do was to put a program in place that supported those big ideas. So Through our unrestricted funds, we put a grants program in place. Now, professors on all of our campuses and faculty members and staff members have an opportunity to apply directly to the foundation every year for that support for their projects.
We had this great outdoor space, but it was just a slab of concrete. And so the idea of a therapeutic playground came about. So I decided that it would be a great time to apply for a grant, and I did and got it, and I was so excited. I was actually jumping up and down in the office. Of the 6 universities that offer a program in speech-language pathology here in Louisiana, we are the only university that has an outdoor therapeutic play space, and that makes us unique, and that was all because of the Southern Foundation.
What we've put in place are different capital projects that would change the landscape of Southern University on the Bluff here in Baton Rouge. We wanted to transform the view of our campus when you come across the bridge, and to say to people, we are a first-class organization. One of those projects is the Jaguar Park project.
So we decided, after so many years, we're going to take on the job of renovating the practice field, putting lights out there, and putting a soccer field right next to the practice field. Along the walkway, we've got 41 columns, and on each column will be the name of a person or a business that wanted to make and has made a contribution to the Jaguar Park. So we've undertaken that job, and it's been a tremendous task, but right now we can see the end in sight.
The other piece that we have in play that we're about to break ground on very soon is our small business center and incubator. We want to promote small business development throughout the city of Baton Rouge. And our small business incubator will be right at the footstep of campus. And so we're breaking ground on that, roughly about $1.5 million project.
The foundation has had a phenomenal year. Last year, we initiated what we call a $1 Million March campaign. We established a goal of $1 million that we were going to raise in 90 days. I'm pleased to say that we collected some $1.3 million within 90 days, 90% of which were online contributions. So this year we set a modest goal for our MDM campaign of $1.5 million.
We announced just a couple of weeks ago that the True Blue Foundation had raised $4 million.
That jump says to me that people trust the True Blue brand. That jump says to me that people want to be a part of it.
They're accomplishing things that, in years past, it would take 10, 12 years to develop. They put ideas out there today. Next year, this time, it's done.
Corporate contributions, as well as organizations and foundations, have been critical. So when you talk about the number of dollars that come in, 60% of that is coming from corporate and foundation support. Companies like Coca-Cola, BASF, Exxon, just to name a few.
For 34 years, I've been involved in bringing Coca-Cola to the table to be a partner with Southern University. Coca-Cola has invested $10 million in Southern University since 1989. And it is a lasting partnership that have grown and developed and really become the envy of HBCUs across the country.
When a company says yes to Southern, it's saying something about our students. It's saying something about our faculty. It's saying something about our alums. It's saying to us that they believe in us.
I want to get across to other Southern alumnus throughout the country in corporate America to be a voice for Southern University.
If you work for a large company, you should encourage your employer to develop a matching giving program, and we have many of them. One very good example of that is ExxonMobil.
ExxonMobil is really proud to be able to provide funds through our educational matching gift program. Our employees are allowed to give, and the company matches that giving 3 to 1. ExxonMobil enjoys our partnership with Southern University, and we only see that relationship growing. And the students that are coming out of the university are skilled, they're talented, they're analytical, they meet the need that's required for us to remain a competitive workforce.
The students here at Southern University, when they graduate, they're ready for the real world because of the quality of education here.
To me, Southern University alums are pretty special, and ExxonMobil thinks so too.
The low percentage of alumni who are actively engaged and who actively give back to the university is far too low.
Out of 58,000 alums, only 2,000 of them give on an annual basis, and that ranks near the bottom of colleges and universities. 3% alumni giving rate represents, to me, that there's a major gap in understanding how important it is for alums to give.
97% of those folk that haven't gotten the message, and that's up to us to try to get that message out there. God, if each one of them just gave $100 a year, $1,000 a year, think about what the impact would be over the long haul.
An institution our size, which regularly has an annual budget of about $150 million, our annual revenue from private philanthropic support should range between $10 million to $15 million. In the past 2 years, we were generating roughly about $2 million to $3 million.
We have so much pride in our university, or at least that's what you see at the football games, at tailgating, but when it comes to giving money or giving back, and not even money, giving your time, that doesn't happen.
And that's mainly because we never really have the conversation, and as I can remember as a student here, about giving, about philanthropy.
We are committed to trying to nurture and create a greater culture of giving among the people who have benefited from going to this university.
And that culture that we're trying to change is the challenge for us. But how do you actually build a culture? It needs to be ingrained into the everyday life of an institution.
One thing that's on our radar that we're very proud of is to construct at Southern a center of philanthropy, where it permeates and infuses all aspects of the university.
And what this center is going to do and be is the training ground for socially conscious students, current not-for-profit practitioners, volunteers, as it relates to the field of philanthropic studies. We're naming this center after one of our chief architects as it relates to alumni giving, Mr. Leon Valdry. Mr. Valdry has been a big supporter of Southern University since the late 60s. It will be the first philanthropic studies center at an HBCU.
We have some really big dreams, and the university merits us to dream big.
If there was a singular reason for our alumni to give back to Southern today, it is because we absolutely need them to.
The fact that once upon a time we were supported by the state 70%. Most of our funding came from the state of Louisiana. Now it's only about 30%. Someone's got to bridge that gap if our institution is going to survive.
We need money to survive.
For whoever have the potential to give, I ask them first, did the university do anything for you?
What Southern taught me more than anything is how to be a man, and anything can be accomplished.
Southern took a poor kid and has had a significant impact on my life, my standard of living, educated me, and equipped and empowered me to compete.
It has given me a great life. It has taken me to heights that I thought I would never get to.
Where would I be without Southern University? I don't know, because it occupies a great deal of my life.
Southern University had taught me that given an opportunity, I can do the job, regardless of who I'm competing against. And because of Southern University, I can hold my head high and be proud.
What I have, I wouldn't if I wouldn't have had that opportunity to come off of that bayou, come off of that farm, to get help from somebody to get me a scholarship to come to Southern, and then come to a place where people cared about me, where people loved me, where people felt so much about me as a human being that they could call me by my nickname. That was love. That love was inspiring. Most of us who got through Southern, I didn't see many silver spoons. Most of the spoons I saw coming to Southern were rusty spoons. But by the time we left, they were polished spoons. We have an obligation to help polish some of the other spoons that's coming through those doors.
So I feel that Southern University helped to make whatever I am today. And I think I'm pretty good. Tip off the block. Shucks.
Reach back, get somebody by the hand, help bring them along, help provide them some of the same experiences we provided you.
The way for alumni to give back to the university has become so innovative. You can now choose specifically where you want your dollars to go. You can now track where your money is going, what amount of money is being allocated here or allocated there.
So sometimes people will specifically say, I want my dollars to go to scholarships in the Department of Education. Or someone says, I want my dollars to go to political science. I always find myself every year saying, I want my dollars to go to the museum. So it's not our choice, it's your choice.
To the alumni who may think that their money isn't, coming directly to the students, I can personally tell you that it comes to us. It comes directly to us. Things are happening at Southern. Buildings are getting built. Students are getting scholarships. Things are happening because of the foundation and because of the money that we receive.
You give, you are guaranteed that your money will be well spent, that you're going to get a true investment return for what you wanted to achieve. And so, yes, people can be assured.
I have seen with my own eyes the impact that our contributions or my contribution has made.
I don't have the money to give like I'd like to, but I do give.
A great deal of thanks definitely goes to those 2,000 that are giving back, that are actively engaged in ensuring that Southern University is here for years to come. I thank you. You are the foundation that our university is being built on.
Southern has come a long way since 1880.
That river outside, do you know that very river was a river that once transported slaves that later transported students? Because the front door of the university, when it first came, was not the street outside, the highway, it was the river outside. We took a plantation here. This was a slave plantation and converted it into a citadel of learning. But this 350 acres of land was a place where your forebears were enslaved, toiled, and now we've got an opportunity to give some meaning, to say to the world, We've gone from the plantation. We now occupy the big house. And when we can reach a youngster's mind, Southern University is proud to help that youngster get to where they want to go.
The Lord's hand has to be on Southern. For all the trials and tribulations that we've gone through here as an institution and all of the threats that have come upon Southern, the Lord's hand is definitely on Southern. And we see that every day.